If you've been listening for the past couple of weeks, especially last Thursday, you would have heard that this on Australia Day this year. So in the next 2 weeks, no, yeah, 2 weeks, I am. Well, I should know, more like a week and a bit. I am becoming an actual Australian, so an Australian citizen, and I've been thinking about it for quite a bit. It's not a bad way, but I've been kind of thinking about how I've got here. How on earth how on earth did I get from a country in Europe to Australia? And I was thinking, wow, what an incredible and privileged life that I've had. As you might know, I was born in the UK, in England, in a place called Burton-on-Trent, which is in the middle of the country. I was born there in 2001 on the 15th of September, so that was quite a while ago. It was obviously 17 years ago. No, more like that. Yep, 18 years ago, sorry. Well, not, or whatever, but yeah, it was a long time ago. And I was born to I also love a family so much, they've always been by my side. But I was born into a British home, a British family, a British community, and it's quite different to Australia. And I lived life there for 10, 11 years, and it was great. I had lots of friends, I had lots of people around me. I had a good school and an iffy school, so I had the best of both worlds. But I was loving life over in England. And I thought, well, this is where I want to be for the rest of my life. And then in 2011, we had a curveball thrown at us with my dad getting a job over in Sydney, Australia. And I thought, what on earth is this? I was going from what I thought was the perfect life, something that I was feeling stable, secure, and obviously happy in. I was happy and secure and feeling good in England. Because I had my obviously my immediate family's always been with me, but I've had my extended family, like my grandparents, my godparents, my aunties, my uncles, my cousins. They were all with me in the UK, and none of them live abroad apart from a couple in South Africa. So I was thinking, oh, you know what, this is a big curveball, something that I've not happened before. And I was like, why do we have to move to another country that A, is not very close to us, and B, is a complete different world to what I was used to? And in 2011, in July, my dad left. He left, more like July, August, but he left by himself with me and my family, by ourselves with my grandparents for 2 months. And it was interesting because I've never been away from my father for so long, and it was quite interesting to do it. And it wasn't easy, when he was away, I had my birthday in September. And that wasn't easy, when you ain't got your dad around for your birthday, it's incredibly hard. It's not a fun thing to do. And we had that for 2 months. I was homeschooled. Oh my word, my mum must have hated that because, I'm not an easy kid to teach. I'm not an easy kid to deal with for starters either. But no, and it was something different there. And Dad was in Sydney, living in the sun, and we were living in the rain in the UK. Although it wasn't, it was rainy, but But then in October, we moved over after my uncle's wedding to Australia, Sydney, Australia. And the thing that I remember most leaving the UK was when we were going through the gates, through London Heathrow, and you're a little emotional here, don't mind me. But I remember my poor gran, obviously in utter tears because she's, her daughter is going to a different country and so are her grandkids. But I remember my gran obviously crying a lot. But I remember my grandpa, he tricked us a little bit. So they said goodbye to us. And we went through to the security, and I didn't realize that there was a wall. So he came round, like, oh, we're back again, la la la. It was quite funny, but I can remember the emotional pain we were all going through during that, because leaving family is not easy. But we left there, we arrived in Sydney. The biggest thing I remember there was seeing my dad for the first time in 2 months. I think it was 2 months. I can't remember. It was 1 to 2 months, and I was like, "Whoa, this is a good feeling." So we all ran to him, and it was great to see Dad again. And it was different. It was in a different environment. It was in a very hot environment. B, foreign to us. We had no idea what we were walking into. Well, we didn't. My dad did, but we had no idea what we were walking into. It was incredibly daunting, and we came to the house, and it was quite far from the Sydney centre, but it was just weird. It was very weird. Something that moving countries. Obviously, I wasn't accustomed to it, so I was still getting used to the ropes of it. What do you do? Getting used to the new and unfamiliar things. And it wasn't very easy. I slept on a mattress for quite a few months, but that's okay. Like that wasn't a big deal, but because I'm used to it now. Well, not anymore. I've got a bed now. I have for quite a few years. But in Perth when I moved here, I even had a mattress on the floor. But and then in 2013 we moved to Perth, Australia, because Sydney was good. Yeah, it was good to live there. Good, it was good for tourists. I say that it's such a beautiful place. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. I had a beautiful church. It was great, but I was bullied quite a bit in the city. So obviously there's that bit kind of shades your mind. And thinking back on what the Australian morals are of mateship, friendship, community, I didn't feel that as much in Sydney. I felt it in my church, but not actually in my school. But I came to Perth. Oh my word, this is where all the Australian values come into play. We came to Perth in 2013, and that was a great time. It was obviously again emotionally draining because you're leaving friends from church, your neighbours. You're leaving them behind, and I do miss Talia. A big shout out to Talia Hines, folks. She makes some beautiful food, and I do miss that. I miss her. Obviously, I miss her as well. I miss her and the family, but she made some great food, and I've always on Facebook been looking back, and I've always been saying, "Oh, can you bring some food over?" La 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 la. But I came to Perth, and that was something different. Again, emotionally draining. New house, new life, new everything. We lived in a rent, like a business rental. So what we lived in, my dad's work put us up in a building, in a house for quite a bit of time, and we couldn't find a house for quite a while. So it was in that house. It had a spa in it, in the top floor. It wasn't massive, but had bubbling jets and stuff like that. Pretty fun, but. So Perth was an interesting start, because you're like, because in my head now I'm thinking back, it was a fresh start again, and something new to start again. And I've been through 3 schools in Perth. All 3 times, it's been a good experience. Apart from a couple of years at middle school, I got bullied a little bit, but it was good still. It was really good. And living in Perth, starting the radio station here in Perth, Youth Jam Radio, starting that. Has really helped me see how Perth and Australia is such a community. We're based heavily on community, mateship, friendship, and we try and build those things time and time again. And you know what? I'm nervous to become an Australian, not because it's a bad thing to do. It's just because I've not done it yet. But living here, having a business here, serving a community here, being a part of a community here, has helped me understand the love and generosity that we have for each other, in this community. Perth is really a big family, and we want to cater for people like that. And me being in Perth has enabled me to see what Australia is really about: love, peace, beauty, generosity, mateship, friendship, kindness. And of course, we can't forget the Bunnings snags. That's a wonderful experience when you go and if you're British or if you're from a foreign country, the Bunnings sausages. Oh my word, very good experience that. And it's the small things in life too that you go, wow, I am grateful for that. I'm grateful that I had that experience. I am truly grateful that I can live in Australia, live in this country where I'm accepted, for who I am, for what I do. There's no way on earth I would have started this in the UK. Not that I would have known of. I wouldn't. If I lived in England still, I probably wouldn't be working in radio, because I was introduced to radio when I moved into Perth. I've got no family really, apart from my auntie who briefly works in it, who works in radio or media broadcasting. So if I didn't move to Perth and work at 98.5 Sunshine FM, I would not have a radio career. I would not have a station, and I also wouldn't know the values that this country has. And you know what? There's something special about this country, especially being an immigrant. I am for now an immigrant. When you're welcome into Australia, you are welcome with a whole heart. It's not a half-empty heart, full glass or whatever. And it's not a half-heartedly welcome. It's a full heart. People love welcoming new people into the country. And I know there's a stigma around refugees, but and immigrants, and bringing people in from different countries, but I think that as I moved to this country, as I know quite a few people have moved to this country, we have felt so welcome in the community, especially here. And something that I've seen through the broadcasts we do at these parks, at these community events, you really see how much these local communities mean to each other, how much they gel together. An example was last Thursday at Quinns Rocks, Belhaven Park, for a community food fete thing, and I broadcasting there, I saw how much this community means to each other, and And I saw them people playing sports, people talking together, eating food together, talking about life, all this kind of thing. It's incredible that this country can provide a place for that. Anyway, I'm getting off track now. I love this country, and I cannot wait to become a citizen of this country, because you know what, I want to become the real deal kind of thing. But also, I want to give back to the community of who have given to me. I've been given a lot as someone who's a permanent resident, an immigrant as well. I was given the opportunity to start this radio station, to work in radio, to go on camps to places, beautiful places in Perth. I went to Canberra. I've been to all sorts of places across the country, and if I didn't move to this country, I would never have seen how beautiful somewhere can be. Yes, England is wonderful and beautiful. I love my country. I love my home country, and I will never lose the love I've got for it. But moving here, you also get to see a different perspective, a different kind of beauty. And thanks to Australia, I've now witnessed a love and a beauty that I've never seen before.
This is Youth Jam Radio Drive.
Hello, now, okay, Arno. We're talking about the big move, from your home country to Australia. Because we have Australia Day next week. Where are you from? We already know this, but tell us again, where are you from?
I am from South Africa, and it's Johannesburg.
We would never have guessed, oh my word. Yes, we would. Now, how long have you lived in this glorious country for, Arno?
Last year in November, it was our 5th year.
Ah, the big 5. Congratulations.
Thank you, it's been good.
Now, I want to ask you first off, what was it like when you left South Africa for the first time? What was the feeling?
Well, because we came here, you had to come here for like a couple of months and then go back to like test if you would like to stay here, whatever.
Yeah.
Visa or something. So when the first time we came here, I was a bit like nervous because everything felt so much different, like the neighborhoods and everything. Like I didn't like the overall feel of it. But then when we like moved here, like this, like I don't know. After a while, it just like clicks and then it was fine. Like I don't know, but you get used to it.
Yeah.
Places have been so much better, I reckon. Like I miss my country, but this place is still like really
And
home now.
So, what made your family come to this Australia, to this glorious country?
The main move they made was because of us, like me and my siblings.
Oh, yeah.
Because my dad wanted to look out for a better future, and because in South Africa, like all the jobs and stuff, like there's heaps, like and a lot of crime as well. And it just said, yeah, we look out.
What an awesome father, folks. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask you, what do you love most about living in this country? Like I said earlier, I like how it's all a big community, and we're all quite good friends in this country. But what do you like most about Australia?
I would say the people. The people here are good. Like everyone's friendly. Like in South Africa, if you like, I don't know, when I was there, like everyone, if you like smile at someone in the middle of the street, like they wouldn't like even smile back or anything. But like here in Australia, it was so weird because like everyone would be like, walking to the park and stuff. Everyone would just greet you and everyone would just be friendly. That's what I love about it.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's so good. You gotta love it. Because I wouldn't even be able to even walk to a park in South Africa because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, here you can just walk to a park and just talk to people and it's amazing. Yeah.
Isn't it incredible? Oh my! Even in England as well, we couldn't do well. We could go to a park, but A, you'd probably get mugged. B, it'd be raining. And C, what's the point? Because the parks are pretty terrible. But but not dogging the country. I love my country, as you said. You love your one too. I love my one as well. But obviously, there's the downfalls to it. But even education-wise, it's a lot better than other countries. Australia's a lot better than other countries. What do you reckon about that?
I reckon. Like it felt so good when I moved here as well. Like everything, the teachers and stuff as well. I don't know. It feels a lot better. Like.
And what's the aim? What's the aim for your Australian life? Are you wanting to become a citizen or something? Citizen?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, that's on.
Yeah, and I'd love to stay here. Like I don't know. If I have to choose like what country to like live in, I would choose Australia because my grandpa used to travel a lot because he had like entomology or something. It's like insects or something like that.
Yeah.
So he used to travel a lot to look at different insects and stuff. But he said the best country like that was Australia, and then my dad liked to move as well because my grandpa. So yeah, I reckon Australia. If I would have to live anywhere, Australia is the place. It's the one.
Yeah, and as we know, we're losing you in October or whenever it is. To another city. Do you want to tell the folks where you're heading next? Well, what's your next adventure?
I am going to Melbourne.
Oh my
like
word!
adventure.
You heard it first on the drive show, folks.
Yeah, I'm moving to Melbourne because my dad got a job there, and I'm moving with my family, obviously. So, but I'm staying for one more year.
Yeah.
Finish my 12 here, and then I'm moving.
But don't worry, folks. He's still doing breakfast this year. He's still doing breakfast. He's still doing it.
Yeah, don't you worry. I'm still here.
Don't worry. He's not left yet.
For another year.
Yeah, and what do you reckon? What's the best thing about Australia, apart from that kind of about the people? Is it the weather? Is it the outdoor activities? What do you like most of that kind of area?
I reckon it's like the thing that you're like free. Like you can just walk out of your house and you can walk to a park and you can do whatever. You're not like, it's not dangerous. It's like there's not much. Like there's crime, but there's not like a lot like there is in South Africa. So I reckon like the freedom you have here is what makes it so good. I reckon.
He's really selling this country. Arno, very well done. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been good.
And Arno is back on next Monday for the drive show, so don't miss that. It's bound to be a pleasurable experience. Arno, thank you again.
Thank you, Isaac.